All right, let's bring in our guest joining us this hour, criminal defense attorney Jo-Ann Nieves. Joanna, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program. I want to get your thoughts as to what you're thinking about this particular testimony as a defense attorney, because it kind of has a dual sort of purpose for the state. Not only does it affect the credibility of some of the statements made by the defendant, but it places him at the scene as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what the state is trying to do right now, establish that some of the statements he made are inconsistent and that there are people that can place him at the scene. And right now we're walking through this person's familiarity with the property. And so I'm anticipating that we're going to hear that he can explain what's visible, the line of sight, because a lot of times when it comes down to identity, we want to consider things about like suggestiveness, the timing and reliability of what's being said. And visibility is another thing. So as a defense attorney, what I'm honing in on is that this is likely going to lead into more testimony about identification.
So when you're a defense attorney and you're defending in the courtroom, do you pay a lot of attention to the order of the evidence by the prosecution? And why I ask that is they've not yet really established that's the crime scene. So the jury's just hearing about, oh, the defendant was seen at this house, and then they have to put those pieces together. Does it make a difference to you as a defense attorney?
As a defense attorney, I think we're tuning into whether or not those type of identifications and placements are made, because that can make or break a case. However, I think that chronological step-by-step approach and the methodology of being very methodical and going through things and giving people a visual of what's happening really does help make a case.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Joanna, as a defense attorney, your defense is that possibly there was an extreme emotional disturbance because of PCP, but yet and still you're going to challenge the identification. Does that read to a jury that you're being a little bit hypocritical? Like, well, you're saying he did it, but it was under extreme emotional disturbance. Now you're questioning whether he was there at all.
I think it's really up to the prosecution to prove their case first and foremost. So establish that he was there before there's any testimony about what his reasoning may have been, or, you know, the defense as to why something may have happened. Are we going to even establish that he was present at the scene of the crime?
Yeah, fair enough. I used to always tell juries, I have to challenge every bit of evidence by the state.
Yes.
That's my job.
Yes.
And that made, I think it sort of created this bridge between me and the jury in terms of my job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's exactly what Joanna's speaking to. All right.
Because you never know which piece is going to be that reasonable doubt to a jury.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a break here, guys. Joanna, stand by.
Now let's turn back to Connecticut and the trial against Jose Morales. The defendant is charged with the murder of his girlfriend, Christine Holloway, in 2019.
He also remains a suspect in the disappearance of their then one-year-old daughter, Vanessa. On the stand now is the owner of the apartment building where Holloway lived. So let's get you back into court.
So, do I currently have the red pen positioned at the bathroom, the downstairs bathroom window?
Correct.
And using again the red pen, there is what appears to be a doorway here behind some wooden railings on the top portion. Are you able to identify what that is?
That would be the entry door to the apartment.
And now, this going back to the bathroom in the garage, is there anything directly above the bathroom in the garage in the residential units?
Yes, there would be the bathroom in the residential unit.
So, how many bathrooms in the residential unit?
One.
How many ways in and out of the residential unit?
One.
So this is the only way in and out?
Correct.
And that the only bathroom in the residential unit would be directly above the bathroom in the workshop area?
Correct.
I want to call your attention to the weekend immediately following Thanksgiving of 2019. Do you remember that weekend?
I do.
And why do you remember that weekend?
Because I was over in the garage working on, at the time I was still building the garage, and I was working on a wooden sign box, like for a large Honda dealer sign, and I was building the box to hang the sign on the wall.
And first of all, looking at you today, you have a very well coiffed beard on you as you sit in court today. Did you have that facial hair in 2019?
I had a mustache and maybe a little bit down here, not nearly what this was.
And would it be fair to say your hair is red or brown or ginger color?
Yes.
Was
Yes.
it the same color hair back in 2019?
Yes.
So now, with regard to that weekend, did there come a point in time where your mother joined you at the property that weekend?
Yes.
So, and do you recall which day that was?
That was on Sunday.
All right. And would that be December the 1st of 2019?
Correct.
All right. And talking to you, and you were there on Friday and you were there on Saturday as well?
Correct.
Was your mother with you there on Friday or Saturday?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Well,
No, she was not there.
all right. So the only day she was with you was on Sunday.
Correct.
So now, do you recall what time you arrived at the property on Sunday, December the 1st?
2 o'clock,
And do you recall what time you left?
6 o'clock.
And you're very certain as to your times.
Yes.
Are you able to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury why you are very certain as to the times that you arrived and that you left?
I have GPS locations of my phone. I have screenshots of my phone from the GPS locations of while I was there.
At some point in time during the course of a subsequent police investigation that you participated in, did you otherwise refresh your recollection as to your times that you were there by looking at the screenshots that you had taken of your phone?
I did.
And is that how you are able to recall with specificity when you were there?
Correct.
So now, staying on the Sunday, December the 1st, you said you arrived at 2 o'clock, and what exactly was your purpose? What were you doing?
I was building the large frame for it. And then some storage boxes in the left, and then the file cabinets in the left. And if you go around the back corner, there's a refrigerator and more file cabinets and the bathroom that I was referring to earlier.
And can you tell us again about the bathroom? Where exactly is the bathroom? Can you see it in this photograph at all?
So the bathroom would be in relation to the Honda Pilot sign that's in the left corner. If you're standing underneath that Honda, that Pilot sign.
Okay, so if I, for the
Yes.
record, Your Honor, I have my pen pointing towards the upper left-hand corner of the screen. There is a black sign with red lettering towards the ceiling. Is that the Honda sign there that you're referring to?
Correct.
Let me actually.
So if you stood underneath that, the bathroom door would be immediately to your left.
All right. And then again, is it so under this? Is there a hallway? What's over there?
So it is I'd say 10 foot by 10 foot recess off the back of the garage, and then the bathroom is to your left.
Is that the hallway?
Yes, the width of the hall. It stays with the width of the hallway.
So back on State 6. So that front door there?
Correct.
Goes down the hallway, and here's the window here? Is that?
I can't see where you're
that on the
pointing.
screen?
Oh, sorry. So down this hallway, and this is the bathroom window here?
Yes. So yes.
And that's the bottom left-hand portion of the foundation, Your Honor, underneath the wooden railing. Bathroom is sort of up in this direction. My arm is in the left-hand position, Your Honor, elevated to the front left.
Correct.
So now, when you were there between 2 and 6, did you make any observations?
I did make an observation. I was at one point using the saw and I heard what sounded like movement of furniture upstairs, and it was enough noise to have me stop what I was doing and conversate with my mother, who was also there with me, and just ask what is going on upstairs.
So, is it fair to say you go to this garage often?
It is.
Okay. And in times when you've been there before, have you been aware that there's a tenant upstairs?
Yes.
And what types of sounds would you hear in the past with regard to tenants?
You could hear walking upstairs, pitter patter of feet, and normal. Nothing that was, I'd say, out of the normal. Nothing heavy movement, anything of the sort.
In terms of this separation, and therefore, based upon your normal activity at this time, you're aware at times of other tenant movement.
Correct.
But was this episode now on December the 2nd, was that typical of the type of noises that you would hear?
No, it was loud. It was louder than normal.
And again, can you describe what it...
Suspicion, in my mind, still with us, criminal defense attorney Jo-Ann Nieves. Thank you so much for joining us again. And I just feel like that is suspicious. That's good information to add to it. But add to that the defendant in this case gave varying stories, said he doesn't remember going to the house, but then he tells, oh, I saw her leave with the child. I was on the phone when she left with the child. Multiple stories. And so at the end of the day, I think that these details are just sealing his fate. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think that it is building the picture that, there's something that's happening that's obviously out of the norm from somebody who frequents the location. We're going to be relying on him for what was he able to see? What was he able to hear? And is he able to place the suspect at the scene? But at the same time, unless the prosecution continues to build on that picture, there may be some holes that the defense will be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, it's interesting, Joanna, quickly, I only have a couple of seconds here. What are your thoughts on this extreme emotional disturbance defense? As a defense attorney, I like it. Gives you the opportunity to argue a murder down to a manslaughter. But when it involves PCP, I have a problem. I only got 20 seconds. I'm sorry.
I think it's a toss-up. I mean, everybody thinks of PCP as a drug that causes you to act very, very out of the norm. So I would say that, it's not a likable thing that the jury's going to want to play into.
All right. Appreciate it. Sorry to cut you off there. Thanks to Jo-Ann Nieves for joining us this hour.
Don't forget to like and share this video. And for more legal insights, keep watching and subscribe to our channel.